the day. I've been battling around because I was supposed to do a video here by 7 something, but I was on my other channel. Guys, forgive me for that, but I hope you've not slept. I know some people sleep so early, but it is what it is, guys. We have to keep going. Keep going. Okay, so of course, if you watched yesterday's events surrounding Murkomen, you know what he said. He said that if the GENZ'S of Kenya try what happened in Nepal, watafyekwa wote. You understand what that means? That means that he's ready to shoot and kill, the way he said earlier during the Sabasaba. And of course, there is just a story that slipped in my fingers because there is an allegation that there are so many bodies found where. There's that allegation. Many bodies recovered. Yeah, there was many bodies recovered in Kenya recently. And it was speculated there must be those people who died during the protests, all right? Yeah. Of course, we have people who are dying out of starvation and many other issues, and those who are in shallow graves and different others. But there are so many other uncovered bodies that have been probed into. Yeah, so we have those Kilifi ones. Those ones, of course, they seem to be in cults, kind of Binzaro village, Kilifi. But apart from that, there was a recent post that showed that we have so many bodies found in Kenya and relating to the GENZ'S who are shot. So I'm just looking for that information and I can't get it now. I hope it was not deleted. There was in 5 days' time. Yeah. Yeah, there was some statement, something for 2025, but if I can't get that, then I'll forget about it. However, it is something that is factual. Still, some people have talked about it. They have talked about bodies that emerged, and not the Mukuru Kwanjenga ones, but we have some bodies which were discovered recently. A lot of bodies dumped in a river, kind of. Is it a river or buried in some place, you know? So the reality is that it was a week ago, I think Njoro places, Kenyatta Estate. Yeah, Kenyatta Estate, where they said they realized that there are so many bodies found right there. And also, we saw also a situation where they were talking about the morgue in Nairobi. They are having so many bodies which cannot be identified. And of course, the reason why they could not be identified is clearly Shakemate. Oh, Shakemate is a it's a title of a story in a silent song. Mambo Poa Sana. I hope this one got this name from Checkmate in a silent song, a story written by somebody. I don't remember the author, but it's somewhere from Cayman Islands. Yeah. So thank you so much. Karibu sana. LNR 001. Hi, welcome here and like the video. Many people watch the video but forget to like it. There is some beauty in watching and liking a video, all right? Yeah. And Checkmate says all the best. Thank you. Thank you for wishing me the best, and I received the best indeed. All right. Amethyst love, Amethyst love, Amity. Welcome, welcome. Big up to you. Thank you so much. Like the video, guys. Before you go anywhere, just take a minute and like the video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, also remember to subscribe, share my videos, and just show love through your actions. You know, actions speak better, they say. Actions speak better than words. So, karibu sana, and do us a favor of focusing on the topic also, because I've seen some people come here and then they begin to ask, will I marry you? And I'm like, okay. As you can see, I'm not bargaining for that or showing anything of that sort. Pasa Vahabi. Pasa Vahabi, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. Like the video. Currently, if people are liking, I would have how many likes? 1, 2, 3, 4. at least from those who are checking in. So like the video, please. Like the video. Thank you so much, Amethyst Love, for the compliment, and I appreciate. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with this OCS that actually talked back to Murkomen. You know, the other day he was actually warning a given officer. Was it at the borders? And here, there is one thing here. Let's look at this before we proceed, guys. Yeah.
Say that national security is strong, strategic, and able to perform when you have police officers who use drugs and substances, who are drunkards, and a parcel of the cartels that sell these drugs.
Sasa bwana OCS, utasupervisaje ma officers chini yako kama unajua kweli umekuja mkutano ya waziri.
All right, guys. I didn't know that there was a response that day. Oh, Amethyst asks favorite color. Luminac green, or we also have this shade of blue. It is called what? Yeah, there's a shade of blue. Let me just think about it. You know, I was focusing on something different. Hannah, hi. Welcome here. Welcome to the platform. I'm trying to answer a question at the same time thinking about what I'm doing, so just bear with me, okay? Yeah, so there is this Savoy blue, and Luminac green. Those are the favorite colors, okay? Yeah, so thank you so much. So, of course, Murkomen was there trying to, I think he was almost interested in the sacking of a given OCS, and he addressed him and even told the main officer to do what he has to do. Okay, you remember that day I did a reaction on that. So at the end of the day, there was an officer who responded here. I think he felt afraid for the comrade. If there is one place where people are united, I think it's the police officers. Unlike teachers, they are just pretentious. Some people will pretend that they really feel for the comrades as teachers, but I don't think so. Even our unions don't work for us. They work for themselves. They work for their stomachs and for their accounts. When they go bargain for salaries and then they are told we can give you 2 million each, they keep quiet about it and they procrastinate. And so that's why teachers will suffer forever in Kenya. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's proceed and let me focus on the topic. So when Murkomen had addressed one OCS indicating that he cannot come to a meeting when drunk, this is what another officer had to say.
Nianze kutumia dawa nifutwe. Kwa sababu kuna wale wenye tumefanyia rehabilitation for so long. These people amekula pesa ya serikali, amekuwa rehabilitated.
Amethyst, I also said hi.
Pata anatumia drugs. Hiyo pesa ya kufanyia rehabilitation si askari, kuna vijana wengi sana who are ready to work for the service. So waandikwe, watumie hiyo pesa wakuje wafanye hii kazi. Let me beat my trumpet Wasiri, and I know your peer is aware of this. And even DG Masengeli is aware of this. I was in a station for a period of 7 months. Hiyo station cocaine na heroin ilikuwa haijawahi kamatwa. Mimi nilikamata. I used my intelligence networks nikakamata. Later on the cartels wakasema huyu tutaua ama tutampiga transfer. Mungu mmoja sikumaliza wiki moja. Sikumaliza wiki moja.
Wewe OCS huyu mwenye wako hapa number 2. Simama. Kwa nini unakubaliana na kila kitu? How are you, sir? I'm fine. Naomba mimi usizo Maru.
Oh, so the computer is almost going off. Let me put on.
Ni strength.
Hiyo yako haijacharge.
It's a big issue. Pare. Na unajua ni station ambayo iko na changamoto sababu ya uhasama kati ya Kipsigis
Okay, let me fit in the power.
Order. I don't know why you selected me, but that is an issue we have.
All right.
Yes, sir. Are you sure?
All right, you remember that drama on that day. Amethyst love. I've said hi, so I hope you've seen it. So let's proceed and get to other parts of the discussion. So of course, in politics there are traps. In politics there are always traps, okay? Let me skip this. Yeah, so guys, there are always traps in politics. When you look around and see people and networks which they are using and, declarations they are making, there is something. So the narrative that Gachagua cannot be elected as president in the state narrative, okay? Gachagua commands almost 6 million vote block. That is what Njohi councillor says. And nobody else has that. He is the only threat. If Gachagua can mobilize the entire mountain to rally behind him, he only needs to pick Bifoli Wakoli as a running mate and he will be the president by 9 a.m. That is Njohi saying. Let's just read the message as I point out to him. Okay. Na mimi nilisema I will only be voting for a president who will pronounce the word Gitunguru correctly. I'm like, okay. So what is this that Councillor Njohi was saying?
Has the numbers. The other truth, which is quite difficult for people to swallow, is that those numbers can only help Rigathi Gachagua to stop William Ruto from becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya, but cannot make him the president of the Republic of Kenya. For those who've been following this channel, in May.
All right, guys. So the trap that the president is actually laying for Gachagua is to see whether he is going to insist to be the candidate or he will let others do. Now, the reality is that Gachagua has a very good ability to mobilize people, all right? Mobilizing people, talking to them, pushing the narratives and here and there, showing the reality or what he calls the truth. But does that narrative sell well with everybody? If you look at the case that was just concluded before he was impeached, you realize that people really hate some points about how he addressed some matters, the aspect of shares, So, he has the mind games, all right? And he's playing very well with Ruto. He can keep quiet as Ruto talks in 10 different places. And he comes in one meeting and talks and he dissolves everything that Ruto said. Yeah? So he was impeached on grounds of being a tribalist. Yeah? You realize that he was dropped as DP and therefore he got this detachment from the electoral position of leadership. He was even threatened with arrest. Yeah, he was ridiculed with a lot of people on being primitive, and he became a force to reckon when he began to even before impeachment, he had to call around people, press release and all that. Yeah, but there is futility here, all right? If we agree, Ruto has his match in Rigiji, all right? But then, when you look at other rules surrounding everything, the power politics, all right? I'm just looking at that. I'm just looking at that, and I was considering some video that was done by another political analyst. Let's look at the the commands here, the comments. Let's look at comments here. And I want you to follow with me closely. So you see one person, Yahya Abdi Hafid, has said, I'm from Garissa, bro. If Rigiji stand, I will vote for him. Hata asipopata kwa roho safi, kura yangu nitampa. Akisema atapatia Kalonzo, pia ni sawa. Mimi alfa. That guy is smart, good-hearted person. Be blessed, kiongozi Rigiji. Pia analeta salamu wa wangu wengi wa Garissa ambao wanakupenda. New Creature H8AK said it's a strategy for all party leaders to be presidential candidates, but in the long run they'll all settle for one to face RUTO. They have always said this. Yeah, they have always said this. But for how long will they say it? And are they sure that at the end no one will skip and begin to say they hoped to do? Francis Komoruru says no man can defeat Gachagua. Makembo George says Matiang'i is being pushed by Jubilee to fight Gachagua and DCB. Kalonzo is not aggressive. Only Gachagua can defeat Ruto. Wavinya Ndeti said the other day they cannot always use Kalonzo to climb up. He has to be part of the game. Rigiji is consolidating his votes. It is too early to conclude. Of course we are waiting. We are here doing analysis day after day. Then Maldivida agreed with Lee. Lee, leave mountain and on our own Rigiji. Abdura Kamina says, Mr. Lee, everyone in opposition is looking for a seat. In politics, don't judge Gachagua by now. You are not correct. So guys, let's get to see. What do you think? Because the other day I saw Rigiji coming to the mountain. And of course, he declared, he asked people of Mbere and the rest of the central place to actually stand with him so that he takes the RUTO down. And this is the trap I'm talking about, okay? Peter Polakzek, this must be German, has to innen friend. Hey, how are you, friend? I think that's the thing. I remember some little German, though I stopped studying. But I think that's exactly what you mean. Has to do einen friend. Yeah, I remember that. This must be how has to einen friend. I thought it is how do you do friend, but it seems it is do you have a friend for me? Okay. Da ima auf den Uzulangach. Hey, let me not bite myself. French, the German is a little complex, you know, it's a little complex. Okay, so what I'm saying is I'm focusing on politics here, and politics is one of the things that is so sweet to talk about. And I just like talking about politics because I become informed day after day, guys. All right? So what is your take? Do you think Gachagua will win it? Now, there was something I was just thinking about. When I was looking at this, you know, state house visitations that Ruto is calling upon teachers the other day, and yesterday when he went with the teachers, then somebody declared that 6.7 million. And I was like, which millions? You know, when he decides to call people from Gusii, he calls them from Murang'a, he calls from Kiambu, then he calls teachers. I think there is something, a game he's trying to play. And what is this game? Do you know, somebody said that just in sitting down with him and having them declare some things, like yesterday now the teacher said that as long as he reduces the agreement on pay rise to 2 years and also employs, and I don't know how many, the number of teachers and those who are above 45, then they'll vote for him. That is what the leaders said. They didn't talk for every teacher, because teachers are are among the people who can trust you or decide not to trust you. Depending on how each of them is experiencing life, they'll decide either to vote or not for. Because generally, when you look at teachers, teachers are not so united as such. Even though there is NAT, there is KUPPET and all that, it is just a union that was formed long ago. When you look at the current teacher, they don't trust these unions. They don't. They have a lot of questions surrounding what is the role of the unions when unions are not defending them to get the best salary, to make them build good homes. They are still living in rental houses. Okay? So there is no way you can expect that really this man has spoken for everybody. Hey, my bundles seem to be demanding that I buy more. We've talked for 20 minutes. Let's buy more so that we can proceed, guys, before it goes off. But my worry is once you turn the camera, like you are even pulling up the bundles, then it decides not to allow you turning. And turning has its beauty. It allows you to air as you continue. Anyway, let's see what will happen. Yeah, so guys, as I was saying, this strategy which the president is using to call people into the State House slowly by slowly and have them drop some statements, it might come out as a ghost in 2027. People are not seeing how serious this is, but they just stand there and say we are vowing for 2-term. How can you go represent millions of people in a country? You didn't consult them, because this aspect of a teacher, I'm a teacher, but I didn't even know. I didn't even hear about it until the people are in the State House. In fact, that is when I knew it was happening. I just heard about it as a rumor. And then someone goes there and stands and says, if you do this for us, we are going to give you 2-term. And then the next day, Wetembea or Mutembei TV comes up and says, teachers wow RUTO as they vow 2-term is a must. Really? So these statements will become nefarious for us in 2027, because the reality is that he will argue that these people promised me. I also called upon the way the way politicians are very confident. What I know, ladies and gentlemen, he will come about and declare that I called the Kiambu people, this is what they said. I called the young people, this is what they said. The teachers, so don't say that I have had any backdoor ways of having the votes. And remember, so many people have already sworn that they'll fill the basket. So, I don't know. Sometimes people don't just think beyond their nose. You know, they don't just think beyond their nose. But in my thought, that's what I'm just thinking. That as people continue to talk about this, it will obviously come back to them. Anyway, it will. But let's look at this.
Enjoy wholesale prices every day for your groceries and home essentials.
Let's skip this as we
Download
continue.
the app now on Google's Play Store or Apple's App Store.
The commercial breaks are just too much.
With Quadu Wholesale Club today. The latest revelation about President William Ruto's lifestyle have raised eyebrows across Kenya. Forget the speeches about wheelbarrows and hustler economics. The numbers don't lie. When you tally the luxury watches, the designer belts, the million-shilling cars, and the billion-shilling properties, the president's personal image begins to look less like a humble hustler and more like a man living in a different economic universe altogether. Today, we break down the price tags line by line to see just how much wealth Ruto has been spotted with.
We don't have time. Unajua kuna watu wengine wananiambia hii umefanya ya elimu ni ngumu, sijui hiyo ingine ya affordable.
Number 1, watches, occasions, events, and prizes. Hublot Big Bang, spotted during campaigns in 2021 and Kasarani rallies. Price is equals to 2.9 billion Kenyan shilling. Rolex Cosmograph Daytona, won at the swearing-in at Kasarani September 13th, 2022. Price midpoint is equals to 9.5 million Kenyan shilling. Audimus Pigwet Royal Oak, seen during prayer meetings in Karen early 2023. Price midpoint is equals to 5 million Kenyan shilling. A Lange and Sean Lange 1 moon phase, won at State House in official Nairobi convoy. Price is equals to 28.5 million Kenyan shilling. Armored Toyota Land Cruiser 200 series seen during campaign tours. Price is equal to 23.5 million Kenyan shilling. The year 2024-2025 is equals to 25.46 billion Kenyan shilling. State House domestic trade is equals to 1 billion Kenyan shilling. Office of the
A very unique one. Number one, yetu inyoroke vizuri.
luxuries, they paint a consistent picture of leadership at odds with the lived experience of most Kenyans. When the final tally climbs past 31 billion shillings, the debate shifts from lifestyle curiosity to political.
Okay, so looking at that short clip from Maisha Television, hey, some things people have to actually go check on. It is clear that William Ruto lives a billionaire lifestyle with watches worth millions, jets worth billions, sunglasses worth millions, and State House spending worth millions. Now, currently, of course, we've heard GACHAGUA talking about the millions that are being spent every time possibly the leader, the teacher leaders, or whichever other party go there. Okay. This phone is going off. So that tells us that there is much about our current leaders, and I don't know. Yeah, so meanwhile, Senator Onyonka talked about a secret bill. I thought this bill was swept away. Okay?
It's 2025.
But this
Why
is
should
what
you allow people who dislike you to wait
again.
for 7 years when the law says let's take 5? Members of Parliament, the National Assembly, the Senate, the Presidency, and all this cabal of your leadership, all they want is use the back door to extend their term limits. Basically, I find it to be stupid. And all we do is eat and finish. The ones we finish, we leave some and jump to the next tree. And it doesn't matter who the owner of those bananas are and what those bananas do. And I mean, we just sick. Okay, from the point of how you're talking, yes, it's like Kenya, we collect so much money. Actually, it's like Kenya, we are rich. I have always said Kenya doesn't have to borrow a single penny. We have 6 countries within the East and Central Africa region: Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Somalia, and I can give you South Sudan. If you put their total budgets together, is equivalent of what Kenya's budget is. The difference is that those 6 countries have got a population of not less than 300 million. Kenya, we are only 48 million, and we are collecting 4 trillion. So how can 4 trillion, which is being consumed by the 6 East African countries, where their population is 300 million, be enough where you see Tanzania is moving, Rwanda has done incredible things, Burundi is struggling with their stuff, South Sudan, you know, the issues are political, but you see the countries are running. They are running militaries, they have teachers, they have doctors. 6 countries, if not 7. Then
okay, looking at that narrative by Senator Onyonka, there is a day I said that Kenya has enough money, and somebody almost killed me on this platform, but I insisted. I insisted that Kenya, we have a lot of money and we don't have even to borrow. But look at how much some few politicians own. Few politicians, like they have land all over the country. How much land does one need? It was one of the stories done in the former short stories that the Form 4s were sitting for in KCSE. How much land does man need? When we die, we just need 6 by 6 feet. When we are alive, we can just need maybe 10 acres maximum. Maximum, I'm talking about maximum. Because there are Kenyans who are living in a half a plot, which is 25 by 50, and they are surviving. We have Kenyans who have only 1 acre, and they are surviving. They are using that to educate their kids. They are using that to eat every day. They are using that to survive. But then we have Kenyans who think they need 100 thousands, millions of acres. And so they'll go buying all over the places, grabbing some, you know, taking advantage of the people who are in need. Looking at aspects such as, let's say a jacket, like a watch. Do you really need to put on a million watch for what? So that it does what? Let's look at a car, for example. Do you need a car worth billions? Really? You've just seen the video I've just played before I brought in Senator Onyonka. Now, I always think the reason why these people want to extend the term limit from 5 to 7 years, they know, possibly most of them know they are not going back. So the simple mathematics is to extend the leadership and go in for a longer period and go rest when they have enough for their families. Now, this is one thing that makes Kenya a very sad country, though it's a very good place. Naturally, you look at the phenomena, you know, the weather, it's quite friendly. However, this greed, selfishness, you know, corruption has eaten into our roots and made it the worst country for most people who are at a low level, because like they are suffocating literally with life, okay? They can't pull up to the table, like you have to struggle so much. You can't consistently know what is happening tomorrow. You cannot even know whether you'll be making it to pay fees for your kids. You don't know whether you'll live, because if you are sick and go to hospital, you are not so sure whether you come out safe, or if there is a condition, whether you'll be treated or you lack the money to care for you, because health, you paid for it, but you are not sure that it's covering all that you need. You're not sure whether the project you started will end when you're still alive. All right? So these are the politics of Kenya. And when you talk about it, people are like, why, what? We are tired and sick of politics. But it is this politics that is eating us, because we have the wash happening around us in politicians. You know? Politicians who thrive in running drug baron farms, they run militia. What I mean is the gangs. Like they have dark gangs that they are just managing, you know, some of the nefarious activities that they are conducting. You know, the aspect of goons, for example, ask yourself why Nairobi would become insecure in this era where Nairobi has street lights all over the places. You know, vehicles should be running even 24 hours. Why should we have our city becoming insecure? The main city in Kenya, why should it be insecure when people come in and leave any time of the day and night? So it's about the wash kings that are really dominating our city or our nation, because of that greed, that selfishness, that satiation that sends them to always want more and more. You know, more and more. So it has become a class to put on a coat that is worth millions, while many people cannot even afford a simple skirt of 50 shillings or 100, because they are struggling to get some food to their table. It is a lifestyle to have a belt worth millions when a simple student going to school cannot afford a belt. They have to use a scissor, you know, a scissor rope to tie their, you know, to tie their shorts. A country whereby somebody would afford to use millions on their shoe, when we have students who are actually measuring the temperature of their feet every morning as they go to school and they come back home. A situation where somebody would easily want a ghost school to pay capitation to, when the real schools that are really feeding students with the knowledge and need maybe provision of labs and maybe digital devices are lacking anything to tell them that the future is bright. So when such an environment is actually dominating, I think we can finally look at Senator Onyonka again before we go to a different story.
We who have got 4 trillion and we have 48 million people are not able to manage that money. They say we are 56. Even you can make it even 60 million. Let's assume we are 60 million. Why are we unable? Is because we have elected leaders who are part and parcel of the cartels of the state oligarchs
controlling the state resources, where they begin the planning of budgetary allocations to corruption and run this all the way. And now it has cascaded to the county governments. We should never tax people the way we are taxed. The money is enough. President Kibaki came into power by the year 2002. You know what his budget was? 648 billion. He ran the military, paid all the doctors and nurses. But by that time, we didn't have devolution. He was paying everybody else. He ran a government for 4 years before the new constitution came with 648 billion. He did.
And they built roads.
All right.
G-Wagons, they drive the best vehicles you will ever see. So now, this is one, in terms of government. Two,
That's atrocious.
it is very painful. Two, these guys who are in narcotics. You know, there's no way you're going to enter narcotic money into the
Financial system.
Now, why is it difficult? Because our audience needs to understand.
Yeah.
Why is it difficult when you have the money? Why is it difficult to just go and deposit in a bank? Because you should just be able to walk into a bank and put the money and tell the bank I've brought the money.
Yes. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions.
Bank and do business with it.
So now our audience must forgive us for their naivety. Because when you have money, used to money below $1 million, Bob, you don't know what I'm talking about. This is money beyond $1 million. These are people who can operate over 300 million in a month. Okay? So for you to deposit 1 million shillings in Kenya today, you must bring the invoices or the receipts or the contracts where you got this money from. Otherwise, there's an automatic reporting system in the bank that whenever deposits above $1 million is made, then CBK is notified. It's automatic. And when it's a suspicious activity, like when you deposit $1 million in a day, 4 million, or even just 3 million in a day, it is flagged. Okay? Because once you bring this money, you need to give evidence.
Yes.
That actually I did a job, and my personal account has been flagged before for receiving such monies. And not that I'm a wash person. It is money that came from a client.
Yeah.
But since we didn't have proper paperwork, it was like, I'm going to do you this work, it is 3 million shillings, you will channel it to my account. It is out of trust. And the client has too much money. So when the client paid, this particular bank called me and I had to explain. And the client had to be called and asked, did you actually do this? Can you then provide the documentation? Otherwise, this account, we cannot give this guy this money. Yes. Okay? So, Sudanese.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I handle our team's weekly product releases. We track everything in a calendar.
How started the
Okay. So this guy here is explaining how the Nairobi Wash Kings operate with narcotics, drug, and dirty gold scams, fake dollars. And this is something you have been seeing even in Forex and all that, and a lot of doubts running around, of course, with all these aspects happening. And now, mind you, this does not happen just among the common people. They are people connected, maybe working with the judiciary or the executive. Some of them are in the executive, all right? And if you can relate with the case of Captain Ngoge, you understand what I'm talking about. You also relate to what Senator Onyonka has said. You can relate about this.
buying those to clean the money? So they will pay you 50 million instead of 18, and they tell you the rest, there's a way you will wire it back to them so that it's legitimate. Very soon, Jagero, in Kenya, these very many houses that are being built in Kilimani, these high-rise buildings, they will be vacant because they're being built and then people who should rent them don't have the capacity.
And I hear, even if we were being told that the water table of Nairobi is depleting.
You remember?
Very fast.
You remember? Yes.
And these people are actually sinking up to 5 boreholes in one property.
In one property. In fact, let's say in 100 by 100 plot, which you'll find like 2 apartments, 2 high-rise apartments.
Yes.
Every apartment has sunk a borehole. The water table there is depleted because there's no way That is why building there's a plan around it. And maybe the government needs to put in more stringent measures to ensure that building, just like it was before, if you want to build, let's expand the city.
Right. The expansion of Nairobi city. Oh my goodness. Let's move to another story. I saw another interesting story here to cover before this. Okay.
We start off from State House here in Nairobi, where
I want us to just get to the last story, then call it a day. 41 minutes down the line, not too bad, though so many people seem to be asleep. But let's see what we can do before we call it a day.
Ako na master ya wizi, ako na bachelor's degree ya mauaji. Nilikuwa na mwingine alikuwa analalamika hajasoma.
The fight between President William Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua has turned vicious. Ruto calls him less educated. Gachagua fires back. Ruto holds a PhD in lies, a master's in stealing, and a bachelor's in killing, and a diploma in corruption.
Nimeona huyu Ruto akisema ati amesoma sana, ati mimi bado soma. Ni kweli amesoma, ako na PhD ya uongo, si ndio? Ako na master ya wizi, ako na bachelor's degree ya mauaji, ako na diploma ya corruption and mismanagement, si ndio? Harambe!
This is not just political mudslinging. It is the beginning of an education war that could define Kenya's 2027.
Oh my goodness. And one of the things that leaders should know when you talk about education and brag about it is such a delicate matter because still, when it comes to PhDs, how many Kenyans have acquired it? Even those who are battling to have it are finding it tough to get it. So, not easy, right? So the firing back and forth is not an easy thing. It's becoming actually very, very, very dangerous for our nation. Well, how I wish that we could have Ibrahim Traore just here, like the Burkina Faso situation. It's what most of us would wish to have, okay? But in Kenya, we're just having battles, and I don't know whether they are pretentious, like Sifuna clashing with Junet, with Wanga, asking how soon he would be sent away from politics. Let's listen to this, for example.
Was a cabinet secretary or minister. Never. So how is it possible for you to come and start answering for things that happened in 2013 after all the constitutional and processes have been exhausted? It's not possible. Like it's a very simple thing. Just go and answer the question. That's what he did. But we're saying why? Because, you know, venye tumeongea juu ya huyu Meg Whitman, there's certain contexts that people might not understand. Yeah? The president is supposed to be going to Western Kenya. And he made certain promises to the people there. And he knows the people will ask about those promises. For instance, he was very clear. He said he's going to give 30% of government to the people of Western Kenya. Now, the people of Western Kenya are waiting for him with calculators. You know, because everybody knows 30% of 24. Yes, of 24. You know, so then he made very specific. You know, so the problem sometimes with politics is you should not also be very specific in. There was a condition. Deliver X amount. That's what we're saying. Now, did you deliver? That's what we're saying. Now, the calculators. That's why people are waiting. So you want to chlorate like this. So 20% came from 20% was for X number of votes. People are waiting for him with calculators. If X number of votes are delivered, what is the percentage? And then he made specific promises about Mumia sugar, about Nzoia sugar, about roads, you know. So And in fact, I remember one time in 2019 there was a certain national celebration in Kakamega, Buhungu Stadium. There's a very infamous road that Ruto was caught on camera saying this road is complete. Now, unfortunately for him, that road happens to pass outside my house in Bungoma. So I know for a fact that road is not complete. Then he backtracks in 2019 and he says, now we have instructed 2 contractors to be on that road. One to start from the Bungoma side and another one from the Kakamega side. Now, as it just happens, I use that road from the Bungoma side to go to my house. I have never cited that contractor, you know. So he knows when he's going there. And he's being told that it's a bit hostile. Then some people within his administration feed him lies that, you know, the people who are sowing discontent are these people. If you squeeze them a bit, they'll keep quiet. Vijana viwanja na nini, because they don't know the potential until they see the day they saw the numbers. They discovered, oh, kumbe there is money here. They go and amend the Sports Act to now say money from that fund will be used to support universal health care. It's a rabbit. Single line allocation in the county's budget for them. That's what I'm telling you.
How does it happen though? Because you see, the county budgeting process is a long one.
Yes.
There is public participation and input.
Yes.
I'm assuming that they've presented this in in those committees.
Absolutely.
As associations.
Yes.
I'm assuming that they've also tried to.
All right, so Edwin Sifuna was actually enlightening Kenyans on the fake promises that have been happening with the current government and how they have failed, and the possible animosity that is actually piling among citizens. So my question is just that when we talk about this broad-based government and really praise it, is it really working for us or for them? Yeah, so that will be my last question as we end this show. Until tomorrow, bye-bye. See you later.